Hey everyone, I'm Jay Rosehill, and you're watching Nasty Knuckles.
You're listening to Nasty Knuckles, the Hockey Outlaws podcast, with your hosts, Derek Nasty Settlemyre and former Philadelphia Flyer enforcer Riley Cote, as they go behind the scenes with your favorite NHL players. Time to face off.
All right, welcome back. What's happening, Nasty?
What's up, Regarelia? We both got our little Christmas hats on. I got the PHC
I like it.
Christmas hat
Looking
coming off a huge tournament win in Pittsburgh, dropping Penzi lead, which I believe they were ranked 8th in the nation. Yeah, the boys, man, they played so well. It was great. Yeah, it was a great weekend. The kids battled through some sickness. Unfortunately, Elvis got sick the last day. He wasn't able to play that day, but it was awesome. Kids won. They deserve to win. They've been playing well. Just got to keep it rolling.
Gotta keep it rolling.
Yep.
Speaking of winning, Nast,
Yeah.
we're winners too, are we?
Little championship win.
Championship.
Little championship
Football
win.
League.
Yeah, nice. A lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot
Had
of fun.
good win. Play against our buddies there. CNC, I think they're called now. They were Rolling Rock. I always still call them Rolling Rock, but good group of guys.
Yep.
Had a it was a good game. Good series.
Good series.
First game was a little too close,
High
but
scoring
those guys
series.
those guys are good, man. And
Yeah, they can score.
Hedgehog stood tall.
It is.
Zingo came up with some big goals, and
Oh, yeah.
everybody just played great. It was
The
fun.
rest of us just locked it down.
Just locked it down.
Locked it down.
Locked it down. I didn't do too much at all, but kind of stand
Oh, you
around.
look good. You look good.
Well,
you got the good style now.
we had the little give and go there. You know,
Yeah,
you were in
we
the
did
corner
nice.
there.
We
Little
got
sauce to
plus
me.
guy from old Live Barn.
I'll have to get it to Baller so he can throw
A
it up.
backhand redirect.
Yeah, a little redirect. But yeah, it was a good time, and it was nice to have Mike Ritz's family out there, Ritzy's family,
Yeah.
and pretty emotional afterwards. Seeing them, he was just we talked about him a couple times here. Just a great man. He's going to be missed, and it was nice to have them there.
Yeah, that was nice. I know that team meant a lot to Ritzy, and obviously that trickles into the family. So it was nice to see them support the squad and the big win. So
for sure.
What's going on in Flyerland, Nast?
Well, since we last got together with Marty B. Ron, they went 1-1 over the weekend there. Lost one to the Rangers. I thought they could have grabbed that game. Rangers aren't very good at home this year. They've had, 7 times I think they've been shut out, which is just blows my mind away.
Yeah.
But lost that one, but came back last night with a great effort. But we are sitting in second place, right now in the Metro with 43 points, and it is tight in the East, but starting to separate just a hair, just a little bit. But it's nice to see, one of the really big things I know we were talking about is this Denver Barkey steps into his first NHL game. He did not look like it was his first NHL game. He had a lot of poise with the puck, made some plays, 2 points, could have almost had a goal. Coots gave him a great pass in front. Just missed. I think the puck kind of rolled. But man,
the mitts, the quickness of those mitts and just the precision of the passing, like that's some high level stuff. I mean, obviously this will be interesting to see how he can keep that pace up, but he didn't look out of place one bit. I mean, this guy, he brought a vibe. He's got some energy, man.
Yeah, he did.
Played the game the right way.
I know it's, he's played 2 games. I get it, but it was nice to see a kid step in with, he didn't look like he was nervous. I'm sure he probably was, but he made plays. Yeah. He looked great. I had a ton of people texting me like, yo,
who's this guy? Where'd you get this guy?
What's going on here? And Grunstrom chips in another goal last night.
I was just going to say, Grunzy. Yeah, man. finding a way.
Yeah, he is. He is, man. And, Vancouver, you could say, oh, they're terrible, but they had won 4 straight, since the trade. I guess it was since the trade. They won 4 straight. Team coming in hot, and the Flyers showed up from, the drop of the puck. It was a really fun game to watch. And
yeah, it was.
Vladar played well again. I mean, I know we keep talking about him, but I mean, he's I think I said a few weeks ago, he's my MVP of the team right now. He's one of the biggest reasons they are where they are. And Zegras continues to play hard. Looks like a leader out there and keeps putting points up, man.
Yep. My one qualm of the game yesterday was their second goal right at the end of the game. Like, that could have easily been prevented. It just shows you, like, when teams give up, like, the game's not over. The game's not over, but, like, you just give up. I don't say give up. You just don't try as hard as you should. Layer on layer on layer until it gets to the goal line and make a play through, like, 2 sticks. Like, I'm just like, because I root for Vladar. You know what I mean? I'm like, right, so well. And then we got to give up like a softie, right? It wasn't a soft one for him, but just a softie as a team. They should never have done that amount of of ice with the puck, skating the puck up and making plays. But whatever, the team is playing well. They got we talked about Jay Rosehill in our pod today. Like, they got a vibe. Like, there's chemistry amongst the players, no matter what line. It seems like there's a vibe in the locker room and everyone's buying in. So I'm excited about it.
I am too. They're fun to watch. And, we talk about our boy Tippett.
Tip was flying yesterday.
Tip was flying yesterday. And you're just like, you don't want to say he's not trying to do that every game, but I don't want to say he looks lost some nights, but it looks like he just isn't going. And then you have a game like that where you're like, bro, you're going to score 45 goals if you skate.
Because when it looks good, it looks like so high end. Like, his goal was like so perfect. Like, crossover to the inside, crossover, and just burn the defenseman, like, make him look silly. But I think, like, to find those plays every shift are hard to come by. He's explosive. He's dynamic. But, I'd like to see him find more consistency in his game. But when it's on, it looks, like you said, 45, 50 goals a year on. Like, it looks like high level on.
I really believe that, too, with the way he can shoot the puck, the way he can skate. And it's not like he's just a straight up and down. The guy's got moves. We've seen him do the spinorama last year. Yep. I mean, like, he's just – I hope he gets that confidence going and he gets hot again because, man, I tell you what, with losing Forrester, like we talked about last week, that's a big void in the lineup, just with everything I think Tyson brings to the team.
Yep.
But you get Tip going and these other guys chipping in, like, we'll see how Denver does here in the next, little bit, but that's huge if you can get Tip really going. And it's funny, the other night, some guys were saying to me, they're talking about TK, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, the guy's got 31 points.
Yeah.
And is he as hot as you'd like him to be? Is he scoring as many goals? But he does so many other little things. And I think we talk about that with our guest today, Jay Rosehill, as well. He's saying that's a guy I want on my team. And that's what I was saying to a couple of my buddies. They were kind of busting my chops about TK. And I'm like, dude, that's a guy you want every game. Like, he doesn't take games off. He's only got 10 goals so far, but TK is a guy that could end up getting 20 more goals in the next half of the season here. So I just like everything that's going on with them. Like you said, you could just tell they all care about one another, the way they're playing. Even when they have the tough starts, which we've had a lot, they battle back. They've got each other's back. I love watching it. It's fun to watch, man.
It really is. And I know the people barking at, TK's point production or goal production, when you look at, like, good teams, and I know the Flyers aren't contenders yet, but they're well on their way. They may be ahead of, where they expect it to be. But the way the team is playing is the way good teams play is like they spread out the scoring on some level, right? I mean, it's like, I don't want to say it's fully spread out, but it's the guys are a bunch of different guys are scoring goals,
right?
And TK is maybe taking a less, even though he's second in scoring on the team, he's not scoring as much as he did, the previous years. But like, to me, when you got guys like that even when they're not scoring, they're just bringing the energy, they're the leadership, the way they carry themselves, like these things that analytics can't really ever fully prove, or the metrics can't fully be shown. And I mentioned Coots in our conversation with Rosie, just around like so many, how many good things this guy does, and it doesn't generally show up on the score sheet. But just like is just the way he plays the game, the way he thinks the game, the energy he brings, like he really does care. You can just see it.
Yeah.
But when you mix a couple of these older guys, the leader core portion of the leadership group with some of these younger guys that maybe have a little bit more, offensive jam right now based on their careers and where they're at. Like, it's a nice mix, and you can see it. Like, they're supporting each other. It's not like this. Like, this is my turf, and I need to be one scoring all the goals and whatnot. It's like it's spread out. Everyone cares when the other one scores. I mean, it's to me, it's exciting to watch. Like, and you can feel that team chemistry when you see the energy of the guys. It doesn't matter who it is. It's like, yes, you know what I mean? Like, team effort, and that's what I'm seeing. So like. Yeah, you could say, well, they're not the same as they were when they were like the guy, like the guy scoring every single night and whatnot. But like, they're more than carrying their weight, and in fact, like, a lot of the stuff they do is just is what like good leaders do, and you need to have those types of guys on good teams. And 100%. I don't know, that's the way I see it, anyways.
No,
but,
you're right. You're right.
Long-winded, a little long-winded.
Yeah, but you know what else too? And I was gonna say with Rosie, and he kind of talked about, you say we get into the playoffs, don't want to jinx anything, but if they keep playing the way they're playing, if Vladar keeps playing that way, and Sam grabs some wins too along the way, because you're going to need both of them, right? You do get into the playoff series. Next thing you know, we're in the second round here.
Yeah,
you got a guy like Vladar that's confident. He's this big. If he's playing the way and he gets real hot, you know what can happen when that happens. You could find yourself, like he said, all of a sudden you're in the conference finals.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And I feel like this could be very that. It's the goaltending piece, but the everything around, as we just talked about, supports that. Like, if you get that energy, that momentum continually growing and energizing itself, because you're making they say the standard saves, but the timely ones. That's what it seems like is fueling these guys. Not that they're not fueling themselves on their own, but like sometimes it's required almost that time little save in the first period just to get them through, the cobwebs of the game or whatever it is. And then it's like, oh geez, like everyone wakes up all of a sudden. And the next thing you know, it's like an offensive flurry. But I mean,
and
they're an enigma for sure. I mean, like, a little bit of a mystery there. But also not, you know what I mean? Like, the pieces that they brought in, as we talk about Rosie, nailed them, right? They're all going on full cylinders, and then the supporting cast, and it just seems everyone just be finding their stride at the right time here. So I mean, Christmas, a little excited, but
I know it's only Christmas, but you talk about, they seem to have a good chemistry together, all these guys, and last night your fourth line comes up with 2 goals, and that's the shit that wins you games in the playoffs. Unexpected, there's always some hero, right? Like, the guy that maybe you didn't expect. And the way these guys play, Talk has them playing so hard. They believe, obviously, in the system that he's put in place. You just never know. And again, you're right. It's Christmas. We're just happy it's holiday season. But if they keep this up, I think you never know. Like, you just never know. They're sitting in the second spot right now. We'd be playing Washington if the season ended today, which it doesn't. I understand that. If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. But I'm just saying, you just never know. But you get a good feeling and a good vibe from the team. Even when we go over, they just got it going right now. And hopefully they can keep it going.
Yeah, 100%. You mentioned like the chemistry. I think we keep riffing on it, but like, they score. Well, the fourth line scored 2 goals, but they weren't just like just ordinary goals. Like they look like they had chemistry. So this idea of like chemistry where you need to play with so and so for a certain amount of time to generate that chemistry. What I've learned over the years, and like obviously witnessing in real time here, is that the chemistry could be just like the right guys paired together like right now. Like it doesn't need any more, practice time. It's just because you think the same way, whatnot. And the opposite is true clearly in Toronto. We talked about this with Rosie, right? It's like these guys have been together forever. Like on paper, like you're just like, you just think about it. They should have a shitload of chemistry all the time, every time they step on the ice, especially for power play stuff. But like, but that chemistry has to obviously be fueled by a desire to compete and a commitment to the system, and you know what I mean, and yourself. But the Flyers just seem to, every line, the vibe itself, just like the way they're playing most nights, obviously most periods, have that chemistry, and it seems like whoever they bring in, it doesn't really affect the team chemistry; it just complements it, just keeps complementing it, and as they move forward here. So,
and another thing I think we talked about last week, just quickly, with Tyson probably out for the year, unfortunately. I'm sure, like I said last week, I'm sure Danny's poking people just to see, right? I know we still have a lot of time here, but you never know. He may be able to pull something off, get someone in here that could kind of pick up some of the scoring as well. But that being said, I just love the way they're playing right now, and they're in every game.
They are.
And they're in that second spot right now, which is great. I'm not sure people thought they'd be where they are right now. One more game here before the Christmas. So, and then they got a big stretch coming up out west that is going to be huge for the season. But I hate to say make or break, but you need to win some games on that trip. So we'll see, man. It's fun. It's been fun. Hopefully they keep playing the way they're playing. That's for sure.
You think Auston will waive his no trade clause to come to the Flyers, fill in the gap?
Well, let me ask you something. Do you want him to? I'm just saying.
That's a great question. I know. Right.
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. It does. Rosie had a great point, and I met Auston a couple times, but I don't know him. But it does bother me in any sport when I'm not saying he doesn't care, and I'm not saying Nylander doesn't care, or any of those guys. But man, it looks like that some nights, and it would drive me nuts, even as an equipment guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't you care? Like, they don't, and everyone's different. I get it. Like, you don't have to make a big scene every time you're pissed off, but it just doesn't look like they're engaged.
Yeah. I hear you, man. Yeah.
It's frustrating.
That's obviously we get into it with Rosie, but that's a deep, dark rabbit hole that I don't think anybody's pulling out the right answer on that one, because it's complicated. And when you talk about your stars not dialing it in enough and pouring enough into it, that's concerning. So I don't know how you really get to the core of all that. It's for another day. It's for another conversation with Rosie.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think we're ready to rock your nest.
I think we are, buddy.
Oh yeah, episode 221 with our good friend Jay Rosehill, presented to you by our good friends at Camden Apothecary. Happy holidays. Driving hours outside of the city for your cannabis makes no sense when Camden Apothecary is just 5 minutes from Center City. It's right over the Ben Franklin Bridge. It's easy to get to, no crazy wait times, and they've got everything you'd expect from a solid dispensary. Top shelf product from the brands people actually want. You can walk in or order ahead online if you already know what you're after. They keep the process simple, the shelves stocked, and the vibes chill. Locally owned, no corporate weirdness, just a real shop run by real people who care about the product and the community. They're open 7 days a week, right off 676 at 1205 Haddon Avenue in Camden, New Jersey, with a huge parking lot. Hit up CamdenApothecary.com to check out the menu or place an order. Again, that's Camden Apothecary, real close, real solid. Welcome back. I'm Riley Cote.
And I'm Derek Settlemyre. And Riggs, this week we got our good friend, Mr. Jay Rosehill, co-host, or really you're just a host because you're the man, but Leaf Morning Take on the Leafs Nation channel on YouTube. And Rosie, man, you got a shit show going there, buddy. Good to see you, though. What's going on?
Oh, baby, do we ever. What's up, boys? Merry Christmas. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, the sky's kind of always falling in Toronto, but she's falling right down on people's heads for the most part so far this year. We're in a bad way, these boys.
Yeah, it's we were just talking a little bit before we started, and a few weeks ago, it looked like you guys were kind of the Leafs were kind of turning the corner a little bit. We're always pulling for Chief. Riley played for him. You played for him. I worked with him. I've known him since I was a little kid. I hear a lot of stuff, and we'll let you get into it. But the last person I can blame in the organization is the coach. And I know it's easy to do that, right? But you guys have both. I saw one of you talking about, this guy does nothing that would make guys want to quit playing hockey or quit playing during a game. And I'll let you get into that. But you both played for him, and you know that that's definitely not the case.
Yeah, this is the problem. I mean, they had a horrendous start to the season, the Maple Leafs did, and then it took them a while to get going. And people should have been prepared for that. They made some pretty big changes. They lost Mitch Marner, and they tried to fill that money allotment with some guys that might be better suited to get over the hump in a deep playoff series, or win a series against a heavy playoff team, which is what a lot of people thought they came up short with. That being said, a little bit of a tough start. Then they started to figure it out for a while and playing some pretty good hockey where you're like, okay, now we're clipping here, because they had some goaltending. They had some D before they ran into some rough injuries. I mean, every team deals with injuries. They were pretty decimated throughout certain points of this season so far. But on paper, when everyone's healthy, this team's like, whoa, we've got some superstars, we've got some studs, we've got some workhorses, we got some top six, we got bottom six, we have a D line aging a little bit, and maybe injuries could be a factor, but a lot of names on there that could seriously do some damage as a 6-man unit back there, and there's depth at goaltending, so there's reason to believe it could be good. And they started to play that style of hockey where it's like, here we go. We had a really nice third line there with some guys that they'd brought in, Dakota Joshua, Nick Waugh. These guys never really could find that consistency. And then recently, I mean, they've fallen off a cliff, and, by all accounts, people can only attribute it to them quitting on the coach, quitting on Berube. There's a game against Washington Capitals there last week where I've never seen anything like it in the NHL, watching, playing, being part of it, where the team was so disinterested in being on the ice that it was fucking embarrassing to watch. I was embarrassed for them, embarrassed for the organization. Never seen anything like it. It was just, and that's when the sky really started falling. So since then, they've lost, the next game to the Nashville Predators, and then their most recent game here that, as of recording here, was against the Dallas Stars, and they get shelled 5-1, even though everyone thought they played good. It's a nightmare scenario. And as when things are going bad in a hockey locker room, everyone's looking for ways to fix it. And it's a tough way right now, but there's a big presence of people that can only attribute it to, well, the only bullet you have in the chamber with all these no move clauses and being where we are in the season is to fire the head coach. And some people don't think that his style of hockey is conducive to playing. These guys can play it. But the whole reason they brought in Craig Berube is because they play too much of a loop and shoot, run and gun style and try to win 7-6, and you get your ass handed to you in the playoffs when you play that way. So in comes Craig Berube. So it's a mess. There's so many opinions. It's the thing about that market is everyone's got something to say, but there's no clear answers at this point by any means.
Right. What's the significance of firing Marc Savard?
Well, their power play is dead last in the league. He was brought in to run the power play, and they have all those weapons. I mean, you have you have Auston Matthews, you have William Nylander, you have John Tavares, you have Matthew Nyes, you have Oliver Ekman-Larsson, you have Morgan Riley. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. This should be a top 10 in the league power play, and they are horrendous. They can't enter the zone. If they do, they don't know what to do with it. There's no chemistry whatsoever. And it's like they're flying by the seat of their pants every opportunity. And they're 12 for 92 or it's
13% or something.
It's awful.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for it. So there's a lot of people in the market that said, why did you hire Marc Savard? Good player and good playmaker and good power play guy in his own right, but he's coming from Calgary where they had problems with their power play. It was a real head scratcher for some people, but no success to speak of with that power play that should be absolutely potent. So I don't think that's like the big axe to drop. I don't know what this season will hold. I don't really know if MLSE knows what's going to happen here. Tree Living just spoke and said a lot of like, I believe in this team still. I'm not waving the white flag, like kind of hinting that, you know, axing Berube isn't really their number one thing on their docket right now. It's hard to go off of all these things, but I think it was a pretty much a no-brainer where their power play was that Marc Savard, who's running the whole thing, they could not figure it out, and he had ample time to do so. So with where the team is personally and that power play, it was no surprise to me.
It's an easy one.
And Rosie, you brought up a good. You talked about the chemistry. 4 of the 5 guys you named have played together for quite a while. Why is there no chemistry with these guys? Like, they've played that long together. One thing you could say about the Flyers years ago, and when you were here, everybody wanted them to move away from Jake and G and Simmer, but you couldn't deny it. Our goals were usually power play goals. That was where we were getting most of our goals back, few years back. But why do these guys not have any chemistry? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you can answer that, but it seems off.
I don't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was really hard on Mitch Marner in the past. Basically because his contract was coming up and he was going to demand $13 million. And I was like, don't do it. He's too soft. He doesn't show up when the going gets tough. He goes the other way. His playoff performances are terrible. His idea of digging in is a no-look backhand sauce through the middle. And so he was the target for a while because he was coming up for contract. But in the back of my mind, like, I just got to be honest, like Auston Matthews, all the personal trophies he has and everything, it's incredible what he was able to do personally with just putting the puck in the net. William Nylander, obviously tons of skill, talent coming out of the ears. And there's no doubt about it. Those 3 guys have had talent. But again, you guys know that it takes more than that to win a Stanley Cup and to get where this team wants to go. As far as grit and passion and tenacity and balls and character and leadership, I've never seen it. I've never seen it. And every time this core group of guys has had an opportunity where they're up against adversity and they need to rise up and break through, they've never, like, ever done it. And every time it gets tough, they back off. And I see it daily on the ice. Like, it's like this slide that they're going through. Not once has anyone even fucking considered going and running someone through the wall. Or starting a bit of a melee or just they're not even pissed off. They all have these blank looks on their face. It's just shocking. Like, you guys know what it's like in an NHL locker room, especially in a big market where you're not winning. It is miserable. Guys would fucking strangle anything to get away from that feeling. And these guys aren't even willing to like work extra hard or like get out of their comfort zone or like or yell at something or someone or scream or yell or challenge someone or call someone out or throw a fucking snap a stick or hammer someone or challenge someone. Like, there's no fucking emotion in there. And those are your leaders. Those are your big dogs. And it's trickling down to everybody else. And this is like, I'm worried, and I've come to the conclusion that this is what you get, man. This is what it comes to. And I don't think they have any options but to make some serious changes to the team because, again, super talented players that I'm sure really nice people, but holy shit, how much more do you have to see to realize that these guys, they don't play with any emotion, and that's what's needed to get things done and to get out of this hole they're in. And they just, it's not there.
Yeah, 100%. Echoing everything you're saying there, you described that game in Washington, like the power play. I mean, it's kind of one of the same because of the same guys that are not, trying on these pucks. But we had talk on earlier in the season. He was saying a high percentage of power play goals are scored off puck recoveries. But if you're not willing to work and get there, like, no power play is going to be successful. No matter how much talent you have, because you don't have the puck. And it just seems so obvious. But like, you go to like comparables to like, Florida and the way they dig in, they skate, like the high end players got that swagger. Not that you need to have that type of swagger. You need, you can have some soft, quiet skill there. But like if all those guys are quiet and then there's no energy in between, like, you said it, like this is what you get. But to me, it's not that shocking that the power play is that bad when the go-to guys, the leaders, the superstars are playing with that little emotion.
Yeah, and the sentiment in the market for a certain portion of people are, well, these guys aren't suited to play Craig Berube style of hockey. And they're making it sound like he's just handcuffing these guys.
Yeah, right.
All he's doing is like, north, south, like make the puck go north. Don't pull up just inside the blue line to sauce that fucking thing across waist high. Like, just don't do that shit.
Yeah.
High percentage plays. If you have nothing, it goes north, and you should have support, and you're cutting the ice in half, and you're winning puck battles, and you're getting to loose pucks.
Sure.
They haven't even, like, they will dump it. Like, people are like, this dump and chase, you're just giving it to the other team. Yeah. Well, there's only one guy, like, skating through the neutral zone. He gets outmanned. Everyone else is changing. He'll flip it up, and then he's tired and he doesn't get the puck back. Yeah, I get that, but you got to know a little bit more about it. They're not committing to the system whatsoever. They are not chasing at all. If they dump, they are not chasing.
Exactly.
They don't have that dog in them. And again, like, Berube's not handcuffing them in the offensive zone. Go into the offensive zone, set it up, make the play, seam pass, do whatever the fuck you want. You are creative players. Go play. In the offensive zone, he's not handcuffing them.
No. Yeah.
They're just not. And everyone thought he was coming in for like accountability. Like, now stuff's going to be a certain way, blah, 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 blah. He hasn't even ruled with any amount of an iron fist that he could. And he's still kind of like giving these guys, like, he'll call Willie out and be like, come on, we got to be better. We got 2 shots on net. Like, whoop-de-doo. People think that's going to like break this kid. It's kind of embarrassing. Like, Berube, and I'm not, like, I like Berube personally, but like, the guy played me 35 games in a season, and that was like the end of my career. Like, I'm not glazing Craig Berube like I'm his number one fan. Like, he didn't play me. I have no reason to glaze the guy, is what I'm saying.
Right.
But I just see no buy-in, no leadership, no character. If this team bought in with everything the Florida Panthers play with to Berube's system, I think they would be leading the Atlantic right now.
Yeah,
but they haven't. And to me, the problem is in the room. It's not the guy behind the bench. And I again, you fire him and hire Pete DeBoer. Like, what do you think is going to change?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't get it. So it's just like what we're watching so far. Their lowlights on this team so far this year is as bad as I've seen it since I've been really paying attention.
Wow. You brought up coaching change, obviously, and I was watching you guys, and I saw someone talking about Pete DeBoer, and he was like, well, he can be a hard ass. He's got a good hockey mind, but he's also supportive. And I'm like, well, it kind of sounds like Chief too. What's he going to do different that, makes Auston Matthews finally want to play or care, break a sweat and dig for pucks, just like everything you said. And they talked about Lavi, Torch, they're throwing all these names around, but I have to agree with you. I just don't think it's behind the benches. Are you ever going to see a time, boys, you guys played the game, where maybe an organization finally takes the stance and says, it is our player.
Makes a statement.
I mean, you know what I mean? I know it's,
you're not going to say publicly.
If you're going to trade, and I know it's not that easy, but if you trade Willie Nylander, you better get shit back for him, right? That's going to make a difference, because then you made the wrong move there. But
they'd be crucified.
It's like, it's crazy.
It's scary to think about, like, rebuilding Toronto, because you don't get an Auston Matthews. Like, look what Auston Matthews has done. He's got a Hart Trophy and 3 Rocket Richards. You think those come around? Like, they don't.
Right.
No.
Willie Nylander, same thing with this talent. You don't know what you're going to get back. And the other thing is, these guys all have like no trade clauses. Like, there are no moves out the ass. But doesn't mean it can't be done. But are you going to shop them when they're at their lowest point in their career? That's also but when else would you shop them if they're? Yeah. It's just such a tough spot to be in. But I can't help but coming back to, there's this Hockey News article when they drafted these 3 guys, and it's Nylander, Marner, and Matthews on the cover. And it says, it's not when, it's how many. Talking about Stanley Cups when these guys got to town, man. It was some serious expectations with some serious talent that's finally on on their roster who are under like legit contracts that are team friendly because they're so young, but they're all this shit. And I just can't help but look back and be like, there wasn't one dog in the mix. There wasn't one big dog. There wasn't one guy that just refuses to lose and is chomping at the bit every night and is willing to do anything, whether it's inside or outside of his comfort zone, to get the boys over the hump. There's not one guy that does that, not of those three. And you built your whole team around them. And, injuries are probably plaguing Matthews right now. He's an absolute shell of himself. Can you overcome that or not? I don't know. It's just really tough. In my mind, I'm hoping he gets back on track. Maybe has a really good Olympics and piques some interest in some guy. I mean, a centerman with his pedigree, change of scenery. Maybe the team could look at that and say, hey, Auston, are you interested in a change of scenery? And maybe they can start chopping them. But it's just they're so jammed up right now. It's crazy.
Sorry for the quick break, but all of you sports fans are going to love this. Riggs, I'm not sure if I told you or not, but GT Wholesale just moved to Haddonfield, New Jersey. They've been around since the 90s, which we know as the East Coast distributor for Rydell Sports, bringing you the official NFL helmets and college football helmets.
But that's not all, is it, Nast?
No, it is not, buddy. They actually have tons of things on their website. They have tons of NHL hockey pucks, a whole lot more for sports fans everywhere. A lot of our buddies are going on there, checking it out. It's unbelievable. Check out gt-wholesale.com and do not forget to use coupon code NASTY for 15% off of your order. Again, it's gt-wholesale.com. Unbelievable website, so easy to use, and the stuff's amazing.
What is he going to bring to the table? How good is he going to be? What line does he finish on by the end of the tournament? I don't know. Like, we know what his ceiling is, but he has been an absolute shell of himself, and we're used to seeing him just, doesn't matter what part of the ice. Obviously, on his offside, he loves just cracking one-timers there, but he comes down the opposite side sometimes, and if you give him a stick length, he loads that thing up and he just roasts goalies. And nowadays, you see, like, you'll see the C's part, and he skates down, and you're like, okay, finally Auston, and he'll no-look pass it at a 45 behind him, which, like, why would you pass up a shooting, like a really good shooting opportunity? He's dishing it, and then there's nobody even there. Yeah. So it's not like I saw this really, like, he's done it several times where he's passing up opportunities that you can't even believe, and there's speculation out the ass on like what's going on with the guy. Yeah, because it wasn't, it's been a year and a half of that, and then right before that, it was a damn near 70 goal season where everything he touched went in the back of the net. So a lot of speculation about the guy. I feel for him personally to be in that market and be struggling. Yeah. But I have my reservations about what he can accomplish with this organization. And if they just double down on these guys again and say there are guys to get us there, I kind of feel like I've seen enough.
Yeah. Right. I mean, is this one of these things, like, talking specifically about him, like, you've had so much success, it's so much success. And like, you could say you're in a big market, superstars, you get paid big bucks to deal with the pressure and the stress of it. Like, is it just one of those where you had so much success and it's just you've experienced so much of what comes along with being elite in a huge market that it's just like, it's hard to get up and play, say, well, a Chiefs brand of hockey, but just, a winning brand of hockey, whatever that lands up being for you, but it requires a level of energy, like you said, like 70 goals the year before. Like, is it just hard for him to tap into? I know you don't know the answer to this, but like it just seems like he's, like you say, deflated. Like, where's that going? Just like the stress, or?
I mean, if he had 2 Stanley Cups in the last 5 years, you could maybe say that, but he's done fucking nothing as a leader, as a captain, on a team. He's had no team success. Yeah, he's got some trophies on the wall, but has he won the playoff scoring race ever? Has he led his team? I don't think there's any reason whatsoever for him to be like, oh, I've just had so much success, it's hard for me to get up right now. You've had some horrendous losses, to be honest. I mean, how do you think? Do you just think personally, or
maybe that's what I was saying. More personally, just like, keeping that pace up. But yeah, no, team success for sure not. And certainly not playoff success.
I mean, no, not at all. And I don't claim to know the guy. Like, it's a new generation. Like, they dress like fucking women coming to the rink now, and they have all this swagger with their earrings, and him and Nylander. Like, I don't relate to it, but I'm way older than those guys. It's a different mentality. They have all this swagger and stuff. And then where is it on the ice? Like, they're just completely blank-faced, monotone on the ice. So I'm like, well, where are your priorities at? And like, after being embarrassed and losing and having this bad season and everyone questioning you, and then like to still dress up in this goofy looking shit and then have another awful performance and then put all that shit back on and then go in front of the cameras. It blows my mind, right? I can't relate to these guys. So I'm not going to act like I know all about him or anything like that.
Yeah.
But maybe that's it. There's no amount of old school left in these guys. Like, they don't even know what it's supposed to feel like to get pissed off or to dump some testosterone out or like lead the boys, or like, I don't know if I obviously they don't. Like, it's an option they've never bothered to use, and it's to their detriment, man. And again, they've built the team around 3 of those guys.
Yeah.
Like, you can get away with one guy doing that if you got Nathan McKinnon at the helm and fought his goal, but there's none of it to speak of. And I like JT and stuff, but he's kind of aging, and he's not a big, like, ferocious guy. He's just a Mr. Professional, do everything the right way guy. And it's just, it's a tough spot, man, because I just keep coming back to the same thing of they built the team around these guys with no jam.
Yeah. It's such a great point, Rosie, because I mean, I'm not saying any of these guys are McDavid or Crosby, but they are elite players. And if you watch McKinnon, Crosby, McDavid, Draisaitl, they fucking care.
Yeah.
And they get pissed off when they lose. And it's like, you're right. I've seen so many clips about these guys. You're right. It looks like, I hate to say that because I'm not there. I'm not in the locker room, but it does kind of look like, that was a tough game. All right, well, we'll get after it tomorrow. But there's no fuck you. There's no like, I lost the puck on the wall. Like, fucking get the puck. It's I coach kids, and that's one of my biggest thing is like, just compete. Be hard to play against. Compete. That's the best you could do. Like, it drives you nuts.
Oh, and to try to convey what you're seeing, you're just regurgitating the words that coaches use all the time, like hard to play against and compete level and all that stuff. But that's because they're said for a reason. It's what it takes to win.
That's right.
And in all those superlatives that fucking coaches use, they just don't have any of those. Like, super talented, yes, but like the old adage, like hard work beats talent every time talent doesn't work hard. I'm not saying don't work hard, but like, you have to have more than talent.
Yeah.
Like, I ripped Mitch Marner so badly in the playoffs a little while ago because I just got this wave come over me that says he thinks he doesn't have to. Like, he's like, you see it when the guys win the cup and they do the montages of all the guys that have won it, and they're sweating and they're covered in fucking ice packs and they're crying and they're bloody and they're banged up, and you hear about the injuries they've gone through and you're like, oh my God, what a warrior. Like, I ripped Mitch because I was like, by the way he's playing, he doesn't think he has to do that. Right. He is special. And I'm just like, why are you guys? And you have 3 of those guys leading the charge.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, I hate ripping on guys personally, but I'm not doing this stuff unless I can be honest about what I see. And over and over and over and over again, there's none of that intensity or passion or emotion that is necessary to win in the National Hockey League, full of men trying to win a Stanley Cup. Like, good luck being able to play soft and passive. Like, what do you think's going to happen?
Yeah.
Right.
No matter how many trophies you have because you got a whole bunch of points. Like, it's so frustrating. Like you said, just getting into it, man. It's it's constant.
Just poking
up there, right? Busting a beat of sweat there, the pain going.
You have to talk about this daily too. So
man, that's got to be
get you going. Oh man,
why don't we change gears and talk some Flyers? I mean, they got a little swagger themselves. They got a little, I don't know, some I say surprises, some interesting dynamics going on there. Do you want to share your thoughts on what you're seeing with the Flyers? And
I'll tell you what, I wish I could watch them more. Like, as you can tell, the plate's full talking about this stuff all day long. But when and now my mind's going blank. When you got kid from Anaheim there,
Zegras.
I don't know if you like what I need to ask you guys. What's the consensus on this kid? I just see little clips and little things, and he is, in my mind, the definition of like this new Generation Z type of player, which can drive an old dude nuts, but seems to be having success. I was worried about him going to Philly, going, oh
yeah,
my God,
we talked a lot about that because he kind of got lost there. I know Cronin wasn't a big fan of him, and that probably weighed in a little bit. He had some injuries, but I tell you, we talk about it almost every week. This kid, he came in here. He's a locker room favorite. He's actually got some compete in his game now. There's been several plays, and we always highlight it because he actually worked for a puck, and which we were talking about, some of your guys there in Toronto. But there's been plays where he's like taken a hit, held the puck, then made an unbelievable play.
No shit.
And he's been night and day to me from what I didn't watch every game in Anaheim, but he's got 36 points in 35 games, I think, and he shows up every night. He's almost become like a leader. Riley and I've talked about. You can see him on the bench, and he's not old, but he's not a young guy now. But you can see everyone leaning on him, and he even, Matt Michkov's had a subpar year probably for him, but you can tell they're pretty tight, and he's always trying to help him. But he's been an unbelievable surprise, Rosie. And I'll tell you what, I got to give Danny Briere credit for Zegras, obviously, because you traded Ryan Poehling for him, which he's a fourth line guy. Nothing wrong with Pales. Like, he's a good player, worked his ass off here. But you get Zegras, and he's got a point a game, and he also signed Dvorak from Montreal, and everybody's like, "Ooh, that's 5.5 or whatever they gave him." But man, you talk about a pro. Like, you can just tell the way he plays the game, and he's throwing points up there too. He's probably not a first line guy, but he's playing there, and he's doing well.
But and look at where the Fly guys are sitting, and you need to win some of those deals and and look back on them and say, holy moly, because at the time everyone's like, this makes sense for whatever reasons, and then how things shake out can be a totally different story. But like you say, that could have been a nightmare, and you can't get this kid out of Philly fast enough. Or top down all the old boys in the organization, and the head coach just can't handle, and it could have been a nightmare, and he's lost. It could have been a nightmare, but it's not. And he took a swing, rolled the dice, and it's worked out great. And you look at the guys on that team, and you're like, there's some depth there. There's a little bit of column A and some column B, and it's working out this season so far. Like, what if they get into a playoff, play in that time, and they're clicking on all cylinders, and everyone's got the chem going and feeling good about each other, and things are clicking. You feel well-rounded. We're not weak anywhere. And all of a sudden you find yourself, with the lead in the second round going to the East Final. You never know, man. And that hasn't been the story for the Fly guys for a little while here. So awesome to see. And again, wish I could watch more often. If there's a different game on that's not a Leafs game, I will try to tune into a Flyers game. Because I always just quietly root for them and hope the best, and really like that organization. So it's nice to see them doing good. And I mean, I don't know. I haven't gone in and crunched all the contracts and what the future but it seems like the future could be bright for a team that's relatively young.
Yeah, for sure. And another, this is probably the biggest piece so far. Now we're halfway through the season, but Dan Vladar has been lights out. I mean, there's games where they probably could have been out of the game in the first period. For whatever reason, the one thing they have had an issue with is their starts for most of the season. But Vladar's made timely saves, and he's kept them in game. I mean, he's over 900 save percentage. He's been lights out. He's been really, really good.
And you need that to have success. It was like last year, the Leafs, they won the Atlantic, and they take Florida to Game 7, who ends up winning their second cup in a row. So by, a lot of accounts, that's having a pretty good team.
Right.
And then now that it's bad, everyone looks back and goes, well, it was all based on goaltending, and the goaltending covered up a lot of warts and stuff like that. It's like, well, show me the best team in the world, or the team that wins the Stanley Cup, who doesn't have a solid goaltender who covers
exactly
things. Like, it's just part of a good hockey team. Like,
exactly.
Oh, if you didn't have that first line center who was lighting the league up, you wouldn't. Well, fucking, we do, and
we have him.
He's playing good. So
exactly.
That's awesome to see of Vladar too. Like, he's kind of a throwback in Calgary to me, and to see him playing that. Like, how old is he?
He's in his late 20s, right, Riggs?
Yep.
He's later in his. He's not old for a goalie. He's so big, bro. Well, you know, Rosie, you know who he is, but he's a big body, and he's just.
It's awesome.
He loves it here. He's actually I've been able to talk to him a couple times. Very outgoing. Check. Reminds me of Jake when he's just happy, laughing, and he's playing unbelievable. So and that is a huge part of it. You're right.
Yeah.
So you get a hot goalie.
You guys get to ride a little more positive wave than I do.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a good year for that. I mean, they as we just talked about, they definitely nailed those 3 acquisitions in the offseason. Yeah. But I also will say, like, the young guys have like energized the team. Like, up until a couple weeks ago, this Tyson Forrester, it was like, arguably the Flyers' best forward. I mean, he was on pace for 40, long body, good reach, like, just plays the game hard. And the rest of his line mates are just like Energizer bunnies. Young guys coming in the lineup like this Barkey and Grundstrom, they're scoring and just like they just have a vibe, and it's obviously a testament to the leadership, nailing these acquisitions and having. Again, the goaltending piece for sure it was helpful, riding that. But guys are subscribing to what's going on in Philly. It's just it's nice for us because we were through 3 years in a row of just like
go through that. But like Konecny didn't even mention. Like, I love, like, you talk about a guy who is, I'll fucking do that.
100%.
Like, he's got that little mean streak. I love that, man.
Yeah,
and he's effective, and he can get people off their game and under their skin, and I could just see him turning into this, one of those guys that wins a Stanley Cup because he does not say no to anything. And those are the dogs that it takes. And coaches are dying for them now more than ever. I talk to guys that are running teams or scouts or whatever the case is. And I'm like, why don't you get a guy that just like, pretty good skater and pretty good skill or whatever, but just a dog, like willing to do anything, like hit, fight, block shots, forecheck, biggest team guy. Like, just go round up a bunch of those guys, draft a couple for like, and get your stars going, but just have the meat and bones of their whole team, those type of guys. And they look at me like I have 3 heads, and they're like, Rosie, those guys don't exist.
Yeah.
Exactly. Tough to find them. Man.
Yeah.
Like, wow, it's tough because it seems like everybody kind of had a little bit of that, but then you watch the hockey that was played, and it's just like remember watching hockey before nowadays? It was really fucking exciting.
It was.
Guys were just willing to do anything, and it was just all kinds of awesome stuff that we like to see. And to me, I'm just looking, going, how are there not more guys that see that, going, if I could just work my bag off, hit everything, not take penalties, and then, be on the right side of the puck. Obviously, all these kids are pretty damn skilled these days. They've been doing all the fancy stuff. Like, there's a spot in the NHL for a kid like that, and it seems like no one wants to take it. And it kind of blows my mind.
I think it's human nature just to take the easy way out. You know what I mean? If you can get that far without having to dig in with, meat and potatoes, lunch pail, it's like, I see this. I do some work at a hockey academy. There's guys like, I'm like, wow, look at the frame on this 13-year-old kid. Like, man, but no fight, no dog. I'm like, well, like, because it's like, if you can have success tiptoeing, right, until you can't have success anymore, you don't have success anymore, and you wonder what's going on. You just didn't subscribe to a heavier brand of hockey that obviously we know the core of it is like what is the essence of it. But I think like the game is so skilled, and guys are allowed to get away with so much of this, say, nonsense. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, I think in the next 5 years it's probably get even worse. The skill level will go, maybe not worse, but like, what I mean? I think you see less and less of these guys. Maybe less and less of these guys.
You see the big blue line with the Vegas Golden Knights and winning the cup, and you should look at the Florida Panthers. Like, you can still aggressively bulldoze your way through. Obviously, that you still obviously need the skill, and they have all that. Like, it's hard to get, and everyone knows, but like, I thought we're heading to the point where there's just no room for a guy with any aggression anymore, but that's not the case. And like fighting has gone up, and guys are looking for guys that are willing to do that, because you can still intimidate a team. You can still put a team on their heels. You can still get them off their game. You can still make them kind of scared to play you, even though it's not 2002 anymore. I noticed that the last couple of years, like, tell me this stuff's dead when you watch the Florida Panthers just
exactly.
everyone they touch. So
forecheck the shit out of you. Exactly.
If you look at the teams that win or the teams that are in the finals, they're pretty heavy, right?
Yeah,
like they play a heavy game.
Yeah. And everyone buys into it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whether you're a big, whether you're like Brandon Hagel, like there's a guy who could have easily been like, that's not my role. I'm not doing any of that stuff. And like, look at him on, national team consideration and what he's done in Tampa. And like, he's a guy that could easily have been like, I'm not doing that stuff. I'm pretty skilled. I score goals and I'm a small guy. Like, but he's got that look on his face. Like he's not scared, and he'll play heavy. And you get a bunch of guys buying into that mentality, whether they're skilled or tough, or like, look out. That's what everyone's looking for. And that's what teams are trying to build. And I think that's what Chief was trying to get a little bit more out of these guys in Toronto. And unfortunately they went the other fucking way. And I think I made my point on why I think that has happened.
Yeah. And you brought up Travis Konecny. He is that guy like Hagel. Like TK will fight anyone on the ice. You don't want him doing that. But if you ever watch the Flyers and there's a scrum, he's usually right in the middle of it, and he doesn't care. He's the guy that'll do anything. He's a penalty. He kills penalties. Obviously, you saw him last year at the Four Nations tournament and playing. I mean, he's just one of those guys you want on your team.
100%. He's come into Toronto before, and he smells blood in the water. He's like, these guys.
He does.
And he's laying the little cross checks when you can't see it, when you're in that little scrum, and he's goading, the whole bench or their stars. And there's no pushback in Toronto. We get embarrassed by that kind of stuff. And I think they brought in Chief to try to, say we can use some heaviness too, and we can get and play in that game as well. And we get deep into a playoff series, we'll have some guys to dig in, and it really hasn't gone that way, unfortunately. But I look at guys around the league and say, well, there's something we could use, and Konecny is definitely one of them.
Yeah,
for sure.
A couple other guys too. Well, Tippett's turned it on in the last few games. Like he's kind of streaky player. I mean, if you watch him, but he can play the game fast and shoot the puck hard. But when he's on, he looks like high end. And then Coots, like as far as like an older guy leader, like I was watching some of his clips from last night's game, like. He still gives a shit. I mean, he cares a lot, man. He the way he competes and he's in there. I know he's probably past his prime offensively, but he's a guy for sure. You could see like at the core of it, as quiet as he is, you got all these characters around him. It just seems like they got a nice vibe there, just from top to bottom.
Yeah, I believe it. And like Grebenkin, how's he?
We were going to ask you about Nikita.
Game last night too. Yeah, we meant to ask you about him.
Yeah, he played well. He had 2 points last night. He had a goal and assist last night.
Did he really? And he's young as hell, and who knows? But I feel like he's got some of that dog in him. If you could just mold it and shape it and make sure the other parts of his game are the right way. He seems like he's hilarious. He barely speaks English, but you can't help but smile. I think he'd be an unbelievable locker room guy from what I can tell from interviews, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of upside on that guy. And another one that the Leafs would have moved away to try to get better now, where down the road I could see us going, God damn it. Like there is a laundry list of those guys that have left Toronto who end up having pretty solid careers. And I think he has potential to fit in with Philly really well.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he's been really good, and you're right. It's like you watch him. I don't know what he's saying sometimes, but it's just hilarious because he's laughing and he just puts you in a good mood. Yeah. And I'm down there quite a bit, and I always like how's Nikita and the trainers and everything are like, dude, he is awesome. Like he's always happy. He's just, you don't know what he's saying sometimes, but it's funny because he's laughing. He thinks it's funny anyway. But
one of those guys.
He's played well though. He really has, man. He can make some plays.
He makes little plays. Yeah. He just he just finds a way. Like I was watching him again last night, and he had a goal, but even before the goal, it was a deflection at the net. It was just like, kept the puck alive on the entry, just kept it along the yellow behind him, just a simple little play, and then went right to the net. But he just, I mean, I know he's been in and out of the lineup, but when he's in, Nasty and I talk all the time. It's like, wish they could find a way to get this guy in a little more now with Forster out. They're shaking things up a little bit. You just got to get his like consistent opportunity to just do his thing and have some fun.
He doesn't have a lot of experience. They're probably taking their time with him, and he's in the National Hockey League. I think that's a good sign. And again, if he figures it out, I think he's made from the stuff that could probably be pretty useful in this league.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's a good
for
point.
Sure.
Anything else, Nast?
I think that's it, man. I know this guy's been working all day. He already had a show this morning.
That's what. That's every day. We're gonna get a little break here soon, though. But I don't know if it's a little grindy sometimes. It gets negative. I mean, it does everywhere when you're losing. But I don't know. You just show up and say what you see. And lately, it's been saying a lot of the same things over and over again. But nonetheless, enjoy it. I enjoy it anyways. And yeah, boys, I appreciate you having me on. It's fun talking a little Fly Guys once in a while. A nice breather for me.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you, buddy. Keep doing your deal, man. You're awesome, man. I love. I told you I watch you guys. It's great. Do a good job, man.
Well, same to you guys. I appreciate it.
Have a good holiday, brother.
Okay, guys, it's good to see both of you. Hey, and Merry Christmas to you. And stay in touch. Ask me anytime. And I don't know when we play the Fly Guys. I'll have to check the.
I don't know either.
Check
I think they definitely come back. I was with those guys when they were here. They were here like 3 days, so I went over every day they were practicing and everything.
Yeah.
And hanging with Chief and seeing Lotz and everything. He wasn't back in the lineup at that time. Tanev actually came back that game and got hurt again.
Oh, fuck.
Now is he back? Is he back?
No,
he's back
tonight. First night.
Okay. Yeah, he's had a tough year.
Really tough, and he's a huge part of the back end. So I just really hope he can stay healthy. Not just, just for his own career. Like, it sounds like it could have been some serious, like, Jake Muzzin stuff. So
really,
that's too bad.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, buddy.
Hey,
we love you, man.
Love you guys.
Take care, brother.
Take care.
See you, buddy.